Today our goal is to describe the transformation. So we are going to actually determine the effect of determine the effect on a graph of a parent function, f of x. So this is your parent function when I have some changes that occurs to them. Now the first thing is, in order to see our observations, or transformations, it is good that you have a line in front of you. And we are doing linear transformations, so our equation is f of x. I'm gonna just have it over here. F of x equals x. So the parent function I highlighted, I typed over here. I can see a line, red in color, passing through the origin. Okay, perfect. That is your this is your parent function. All right, good. Now I have to describe what exactly happened to the new function. So every dotted line on these graph is parent function because it is passing through the origin. Every value of x is equals to every value of y. That is what exactly it is saying over here, that every value of y is equals to the x. Now let's copy the equation of the new function, the function rule. So g of x equals f of x. So if I type so far, if you notice, this red line is actually same as the green line. And as soon as I put -3, if you notice, it shifted down. So this is a change that happened, that it shifted down. So let's insert a text box and let's see. So I'm gonna type over here the description that what happened. The graph of f is shifted 3 units down, because -3 took it down, to create the graph of g, because g is new, f is old. It should be italic, but since I was typing, so I used the commas. So here you go. All right. So this is what happened. The graph of f was shifted 3 units down. So -3 over here took it 3 down, and you can use insert a line over here. So let me see if I can insert a line. Oh, come on. I am not that used to of this thing anymore. Shape and line. It should be 1, 2, and 3. So it's the same line, just passing there. All right, I got it. The next one, it says the graph is shifted 2 units down, and I have to find its rule. 2 units up, sorry, it says up. So minus was taking it down. So if I click plus, it should take it up, and then it's 2, so it needs to be 2 over there. So this is the new rule. Plus 2 over here. So f of x is shifted. So the same thing. It is the same thing. The only difference is just plus 2 over here, because it needs to be shifted up. Plus 2 is the change. Shifted up. 2 took it up. All right, now these on number 3, everything is same. Origin, both lines are passing through origin. That means the plus minus did not happen over here. They both needs to be same. These are same lines, but if you notice, G is steeper. G is steeper, that means it has a bigger slope. So right now, the slope is 1 because I don't see a number, so it's technically 1. But G, on the other hand, has a bigger slope. That is why it is steeper. So I just have to figure out what is the slope of G. So all you have to do is rise over run, and then hopefully you will find that what is the rise over run. So if one point is over here, the other one is over here. So rise over run is 3/1. So the new slope is basically 3. So I'm just going to change that 1 over here to a 3. And if you notice, yes, it is much steeper. It is 3 for the rise over run, because I was able to calculate 1, 2, 3 rise, 1 run, and this is what exactly I have on a graph. 3 up, 1 run. So there you go. That is my slope. So let's see what I can do over here. The graph of f is the graph of G is steeper than graph of F, because it's much steeper. G is steeper than F. And why? How did that happen? There was no addition subtraction. The only difference was that it was multiplied by 3, because that's your slope. So 3/1, that was your slope. So I'm just going to write as 3/1. And of course, 3/1 should be written as just the whole numbers. Even if you just write 3, that should be okay, because that was the change in the slope. The next one says the graph of f is reflected over the x-axis. So only the reflection, nothing happened to its slope. So that means I'm going to take the 3 off from here. It is the same graph, okay? Now the green and the red are same. It is not reflected on the x. So how will I reflect it on the x? Reflection is always means opposite hands. So if I put a minus over here, look at that. It got reflected. Now this is reflection on the x. So just the same equation. The only difference is this time it's a negative over here, because that is what the reflection is. It got reflected on the x-axis. Number 5 says you have a function, the new one, which is 1/4 of f, and if you notice, it is less steeper. Make sure you're drawing these lines as well. Less steeper. This is a slope part. 1/4 is slope. So all you have to do is draw a new line with 1 rise and 4 run starting at the origin, because they both are at the origin. And I need the description, so I'm just gonna write over here the graph of G is less steeper than graph of F. So G is less steeper than F. The graph of G is reflected over the x-axis and shifted 3 down. Okay, now 2 things happen over here. First thing is it got reflected, and the second thing is it shifted 3 down. All right, so reflection. So same lines, but first you got to reflect, so minus. Now it is reflected and you have to shift it down, so it should be -3 over here. That shows you that line is now reflected and shifted down. So my equation, first thing I do is it's a minus for the reflection, and shifted down 3 units means -3. So -3, 3 down is your -3 part. And reflected, I'm going to highlight in a different color, so purple or pink, and then pink as well. So minus, reflection is minus, and 3 units down was the -3 part to it. Make sure you draw that line as well, the new one from here. All right, now what happened number 7? If you are noticing, f is the parent function and g is the new line. First of all, it is not at 0, it is above 2. So one thing I know for sure is that it is plus 2. So one thing I know is that it is plus 2 over there because it shifted 2 units up. The other one means it's much steeper. But how much? All I have to do is compare its slope. So find 2 points and do rise over run. So here I have 2 points. It's 2 up and 1 run. So this is basically a much steeper slope of 2 over 1. That's what the steepness of the slope is. All right, now I'm just going to write it out over here. The graph of G is shifted 2 units up and steeper than graph of F, because that's what happened. It's much steeper and it went upward. Now let me highlight the color coding as well. So the graph of G is shifted 2 units up. So plus 2 is a shift, so this should be yellow. And, well, this part as well, yellow. And then is steeper or more steeper should be the blue one. There you go. More steeper. What are you saying? It says now steeper is correct. Okay. So blue goes with the blue, yellow goes with the yellow. Then the graph of F. All right. Okay, since I'm doing the highlighting, let me highlight this part as well. So 3 units down, yellow, because I did -2. Shifted 2 units up was the plus part. The graph is steeper because it has higher slope. And minus over here, which meant reflection over the x-axis. 1/4 is less steep because that's lesser slope. 1/4 is just 0.25, that's less than 1. And just in case you want to compare, so I'm going to write over here as well. 1/4 is 0.5, which is less than 1, because perfect slope would be 1. That's just a side note. All right, what else? We have one more. Okay. Now I'm just going to compare this and see what happens. So I should have a parent function which is f of x equals x. That's my parent function. I'm going to type the new one. G of x equals -2 f of x plus 1. And there you go. I have a purple line. That is number 1. It is reflected. So if you notice, there was a minus that shows it was a reflection here. So blue, your reflection. And then I have another color which is 2. So let's give it a pink, bright pink over here. And then I have a plus 1 as well, which is yellow. So we can test it one by one if you don't understand what exactly they're doing. So let's just make sure plus 1 shifted up. So it is 1 unit up, because plus 1, it is 1 unit up. And then minus reflected it. And then 2 made it steeper. So if you want to look over here, so 2 made it steeper and minus reflected. So all we have to do is we have to define those 3 transformations and write over here. So let's see if I can do something over here. the graph of G is reflected over x-axis, comma, is steeper than graph of F and is shifted 1 unit up. That's it. That's all. That's exactly what happened. Now let's do the color coding so you know what exactly everything was. So minus blue is a reflection over x-axis. This is the minus part. Steeper is the 2, so steeper is the magenta. Then shifted 1 unit up is the yellow because that's the +1. And all you have to do is copy this purple line from here and go ahead, graph it on this one so you understand what exactly has happened. Steeper means it looks more like a mountain, and less steeper means it looks more like a hill. So let's see if I can write over here. Steeper is more like a mountain. Less steeper is like a hill. So that's just a distinction how it goes. All right, it's done.